Mr. Sakyandi Supat.
Madam, the number of bankruptcy applications filed by individuals was 959 in the first quarter of 2023. This is slightly higher than the average quarterly bankruptcy applications of 912 in 2022. Bankruptcy applications could pick up further as a small segment of more vulnerable borrowers face higher risks of financial distress amid higher interest rates and slower economic growth. The member also asked about mortgagee listings. There has not been a pickup in property-related foreclosures thus far. 5 commercial and 5 residential loans were foreclosed by financial institutions in the first quarter of 2023, compared to an average of 4 commercial and 12 residential foreclosures per quarter in 2022.
Mr. Sakyandi Supat.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have 2 SQs. The first is in relation to what MAS replied earlier in terms of the data. I referred to MinLaw's data recently, which highlighted the number of mortgagee listings jumped in the first quarter of 2023, with more distressed sales expected in the second half of the year as bankruptcy applications increase. I think this is from a Business Times article in relation to the MinLaw data. That was the first SQ in relation to what you shared, MOS. Can you clarify, reconcile that MinLaw data on the first quarter? Second is in relation to my concern about the high interest rates and increase in this mortgagee listings statistics. I'm seeing some residents coming up to me to seek help with financial institutions in regard to their mortgages. I think MAS just replied to me yesterday on my return PQ that 27,000 homeowners have refinanced in the past 12 months, and also indicated that MAS estimates an increase in mortgage payments for these homeowners, home borrowers, was around $240 on average. For some households, $240 on average increase in mortgage payments can be quite substantial. So can MOS share whether there's any further updates on household debt situation in Singapore at current situation and also going forward as well? Thanks.
MOS.
Thank the member for his 2 SQs. Maybe I'll go for the household debt situation first and reference the written PQ that MAS answered yesterday. First is that naturally households with outstanding mortgages will see a higher borrowing cost as higher interest rates rise from the exceptionally low levels in the past decade. And so they will face the impact of a rise at different points of time depending on the types of loan packages that they have taken up. As of the first quarter of 2023, about 38% of mortgages extended for private residential property purchases by financial institutions were on floating rate packages that move in tandem with market interest rates, while the remaining 62% were either on rates linked to board rates or fixed deposit rates, which track market interest rates but with some lag, or it could be fixed interest rates over the first few years of their loans. With regards to the written PQ yesterday, the $240 on average accounts for about 2% of their monthly income. And the average monthly income of the 27,000 homeowners who refinanced their loans had increased by about 10%. So 2% for increase in mortgage payments versus a 10% increase of monthly income over the last 3 years. So while we understand and we empathize that there are raises in the number of raises in how much mortgage layouts there are, this comparison between 10% increase in monthly income as well as 2% increase in mortgage would have helped cushion increase in mortgage payments. The other point here is also maybe to share that, to give the member some more detail on borrowers who refinanced between August 2022 and February 2023, so a little bit more updated information. They would have, of course, faced a larger mortgage payment increase given the sharper increases in interest rates during that period. An example of an upper bound that I can share with the member, borrowers whose loans were incepted or at least refinanced in February 2022 at an interest rate of about 1.8%, faced an average increase in monthly payment of about $730, or about 6% as a share of monthly income, after refinancing in February at an interest rate of about 3.9%. Again, if you take it as a whole, the average increase in monthly income of those who had refinanced in the past 12 months was about 10% over the last 3 years. Again, it would have, to some degree, helped to cushion the increase in their mortgage payments. MAS estimated that the income increased over 3 years because most of those borrowers had secured a new loan or refinanced their existing loan 3 years ago. Let me now refer to the first PQ, which is on mortgagee listings, which the member had raised. Now, the use of mortgagee listings as an indicator of households and businesses in distress may be limited. The extent of distressed sales could be or likely be overstated, in part due to double counting. We are not privy to the auction houses' methodologies, but there are challenges in tracking such listings as there is no central database. For example, a property that is put up for sale may count as several listings if the bank or owner lists it with multiple agencies. We mentioned a recent media report last month suggested that there's a spike in distressed property listings in its headline. Now, this sharp increase refers to a quarter-on-quarter change from Q4 of 2022, which may reflect a low base effect from the muted market activity in the year-end period. So just wanted to give you that context on mortgage listings. That said, may I take this opportunity to also share and remind members that MAS has put in place over the years measures to limit the amount one can borrow to buy property, including the total debt servicing ratio, TDSR, which applies to both residential as well as commercial property. And now, with higher rates and increased uncertainty over global growth prospects, MAS continues to urge all borrowers to exercise caution and to ensure that you are able to service your debts when taking on long-term financial commitments, including big-ticket items such as property purchases. Thank you.